Hey, hi, welcome back to the series of quality assurance sessions. I am Tota Krishna Hema, your quality assurance expert. So, in this video, we are going to talk about process compliance checks, or process adherence checks, or project health check. So, here it is like what is process compliance checks? So, why we do it is like to know the compliance of our project or product with respect to defined process. So, first of all, we need to plan the process compliance checks. Generally, process compliance checks will be carried out on weekly basis for the infant projects, for the initial stage of projects. The project will not be in a mature mode. That means it needs a lot of support from us. So weekly scheduling is much more suggestible, but wherein for the mature projects we can do it fortnightly, that is once in 15 days. So prepare process compliance checks checklist with respect to defined organizational process, that is your quality management system. So your quality management system could be based on the ASPICE framework, or could be based on ISO 9001 standard, or could be a functional safety standard or cybersecurity standard, or a combination of everything. It is like ISO 9001, CMMI 27001, or ASPICE, functional safety and cybersecurity altogether. Whatever the combination it is, the same process it is applicable. So once after completing the preparation of checklist, you need to verify each and every checkpoint in it with respect to like you need to go through, that means read line by line of it, and you need to write the comments which are applicable to that. So set RYG indicators, that is red, yellow, green. So yellow can be termed as amber, or in some organizations, so red, yellow, green and gray will be there for the not applicable indicators based on the checkpoint fulfillment. Red for not at all satisfied, that means you should have an evidence but nothing is there, or only a little, or lesser than 15% it is there, something like that. Like you have to fill it as red. In case some evidence is there, but you have some fields which are missing in it, or some important details of the evidence is missing, then you have to mark it as yellow. And for green, that means everything is good and it is up to the mark, so then you can mark it as green. For gray, it is not applicable. And for all yellow and red, we have marked, right? So for all that, comments are must. You should write comments, and that should be termed as a finding. But this will support framing your this comments, like whatever you write for yellow and red checkpoints, that will support your finding description. Or some companies, these comments can be termed as finding, like both finding and comments are same column. So for all red and yellow marked checkpoints must be traceable to its associated finding. So finding, each and every finding should have its own identification number, that means unique identification number. So it can be traced back to the checkpoint. Even checkpoint should have the unique identification number. So all the checkpoints must be rated as red, yellow, green or gray, whatever is applicable. If that checkpoint is not applicable, or too early at not applicable, then you have to mark it as gray. But if it is too early to to the project, that means the project is in the requirement phase, or the project is in design phase, that time testing is not applicable for that, right? So that's when, like, you have to mark it as gray. So two things, like it is too early, or for the project maturity, it is termed as gray, or it is not applicable, then it is termed as gray. While sending report in an email, copy the dashboards, that means your pie chart or your bar graph or whatever it is, with the RYG indicators, with the percentage, with the numbers, all these things. Like you have to copy paste it in your email body, and also a list of findings also to be copied in the email body, and as an attachment you have to send the report. So in case if you are using the tool to track all the process compliance checks, then it is not needed to share any details via email. But the project manager will get automatically alerts from the tool that the process compliance check is done and the reports are available in the tool. So then there is no manual work to do. But however, the follow-up is needed for both the cases, whether it is tool or Excel, or wherever you are tracking. So you should send the follow-up emails or follow-ups is needed. So if these are the tips and tricks for the process compliance checks. If some green indicated checkpoint is in progress or the result is satisfied for that time, but the result may vary in the next upcoming checks, in comments write with a special symbol, just to remember. That means you have to check it once again, kind of like place a asterisk or place whatever the special characteristics you want, like place it there, so you can remember. Or you can even change the text color or the background of the field to different color, so in order to check that it should be checked in the next upcoming checks also. Some people have a habit that all the green indicated, all the greens, like they won't keep any comments. But I suggest you to write the comments, because when you're handling multiple projects, then it is like it is very tough for you to track the things. So writing comments for the green things also, green indicated checkpoints also, it is good and recommended, because you can remember everything at any point. If the project manager or any of the head top management asks, so that's when, like, you can say that this is green because of this thing, this is green because I have seen the evidence in so and so location. So even you can write the link in the comments also. So don't worry, your first compliance check will take a lot of time. That means since you have to go through line by line of the checkpoint and you have to write the comments accordingly, so it will take a lot of time. But from the second time onwards, you can only concentrate on yellow and red ones, and the special characteristics marked, or you have that indicated different color, I said, no. So this is the first point. So those things only you can concentrate on. The rest all green indicated, like which is already fulfilled, you don't need to look after it. So it will be easy from the second time onwards, but the first time is always, it takes time. So the contents of process compliance checks looks like this. So it's like you should have a checkpoint unique identification number, something like CL1, CL2, CL001, 002, because in terms of ISO 9001, so you may have lesser than 100 checkpoints, but in terms of ASPICE, it will be somewhere around like 100 to 200 checkpoints will be there. And in case of functional safety, you will have 700 plus checkpoints will be there. So or the cyber security will have 200 plus checkpoints will be there. So based on based on your process scope, like the number of checkpoints will vary. But because of the traceability, for the traceability purpose, identify your checkpoint with a unique identification number. That would be good for your tracking. So you will have the description of the checkpoint. Here the first checkpoint is indicating like all requirements shall be baseline. So here it is indicated as green and the rating is 100%. All requirements are in approved state, and it is available in doors tool. So there is no finding number, there is no closure status which is required, and finding identification date is also not required. But however, for the CL2, it is like software architecture shall be traceable to requirement and vice versa. So it should be bidirectional traceability, right? So it is fulfilled 70% and it is marked as amber or yellow. So some of the requirements like R1023, R1, see, it is always good to mention the particular, like if you find something is wrong, so what is that you have to write. It's like here I wrote like R1023, R1025, 7578 are not traceable to architecture. So it is easy for me, like to replicate. When project manager asks, oh, he may sometimes they will come back and say like, oh, it is all available, can you show an example. Then if you write an write the finding clearly, like it is not available in so and so requirement, then you can open the requirement and show it in tool. Okay, the finding should be unique finding, unique identification number. So here I just gave it as F001, and it is in the open state, and it is identified on 16th April 2023, that is today. And for CL3, it is all customer reported bugs shall be analyzed with RCA documented. Everything should undergo, say it's an, I'm just saying an AD analysis should be done, and the root cause analysis should be documented very well. But only 10% of the things happen because customer reported bugs from 20th May 2022 are not analyzed. The project started on 1st May 2022. That means only for 20 days they just captured, and from past 2 years they were not 2 years, it's 1 year. For this 1 year they were not tracking it. That means only 10% of the requirement is met, or lesser than 10%. I just give 10%, and it is in red, and it has the finding number F002, and it is an open state, and it is identified today. Okay, and CL004, it is hardware elements shall undergo integration testing. This is marked as gray. Usually it will have a dash in it or any in it. It won't be considered for the percentage calculation. So since this is a software project, hardware requirements are not applicable for the project. You should mark for everything. If you observe, for everything I have marked it as an for green also I wrote comments, for gray also I wrote comments, just in case, like if I myself go back, because quality assurance person will handle multiple projects together. So whenever I open the report, I should not scratch my head saying like, okay, I forgot this and I have to go through a lot of evidences. No, it's not the case, right? So if you write everything in detail, then it will be helpful for you at any point. So apart of these things, like there are other fields like corrective action, project manager comments, verification comments, rating after implementation of the fix, or these all many more will be there based on the tool. Okay, and send the report. There will be I have seen a tool like where for every finding there is a button like send this to the project manager kind of. So like these are all sample things. And if you see the compliance percentage like 10%, 70%, or these kind of 100%, these kind of things, like it is based on your idea, your impression. It is independent rating. And ASPICE has a guidelines in blue gold book like how to give, or also like in the framework also they gave like when to give 0 to 15%, when to give 85 to 100%, something like that. But for all other things it is purely independent. It is based on your idea about it. So with this I came to the end of the topic. Thank you so much for your time.